Hey guys, it's me, Josh, with Conch Detects. Hey, I just wanted to go over one of the most common questions I get, which is, how do I find places to metal detect? How do I know they're worth metal detecting? Pretty simple. I'm gonna show you. You can do it on your computer for the most part. Yeah, you can drive around and look around with your eyeballs and see an old place on the street and go and knock on the door and ask. But if you wanna just look at public areas, or even if you have a permission, you wanna see like, hey, what was there in the past? I'm gonna show you how to do that. One disclaimer is, I don't know what your local laws are. Your state, country, county, city, they can change. So it's very important for you to find out if you are allowed to metal detect on public areas or where you can metal detect. If it's a permission, obviously you can detect there. So once again, do not dig places if you're not allowed to, okay? Please don't. You can go to jail. All right, so let's dive right in. I'm gonna show you some of my secrets, some of the websites I use, and how I use them, and I think you're really gonna like this. First thing I wanna talk about is the good and trusted Google Maps. You can use Google Maps to find places, public areas, to metal detect. If you're allowed to metal detect in public areas, refer back to the beginning. So let's talk about Google Maps and how I use it. All right, we're on the trusty Google Maps, and I picked a random town in Pennsylvania called Harrisburg. So I've never been to Pennsylvania, I've never metal detected here, and maybe one day I will. Depends on what I see right now, but we'll use this town as our guide for these websites I use to find places to metal detect. So, first thing I do is I don't have it on satellite. I just go on the default map. And what you're looking for are these green areas. Those are typically public areas, a cemetery, woods. And another thing I do is I kind of try to look like, here's your downtown. It's usually the oldest part of the town. Look at that, right? Where it pulls up that old Capitol complex. Is Harrisburg the capital of Pennsylvania? I don't know. Yeah. Harrisburg is the capital of Pennsylvania. So we'll zoom in. We're gonna find us a park of some sort. This is just a good way to kind of like, it highlights, there you go, there's a park. Now here's where Google is cool, Google Maps. You can go to satellite. Interesting, looks like a ball field of some sort and a big old field. So we may not want to choose this one. Let's try a different one. We want a park with a lot of history. Mainly like a park with houses around it. National Civil War Museum. What? Reservoir Park. This looks nice. Let's check this one. Boom. Okay, nice big park. So I don't know if you can go here. You probably can, maybe. Who knows? One thing I like about Google Maps is you can go do the street view. I guarantee you these are old houses. Just watch. Oh yeah, those are old houses. Definitely old. And they're right across the street from the park, or they're close to the park. Get back out of here. Here's our park. Right here, we could just check these houses. These ones are right across the street from the park. And look at that. That's an old house. I think I see a ghost right there. All right, so, and here's the park. Old houses by a park usually means it's an old park. Look at those old trees. Look for trees that are big. This is the cool thing about Google Maps, is Street View. That's the most handy part. We've established that there is some history around it. Let's check these houses out, see how old these look. Guarantee you they look old. Oh yeah, those are real old. Like that's looking great. So these are just right by that park. So that, I'm guessing this park's been here a while. But how would I find that out? Let's talk about historic aerials. You are gonna love me for this if you've never looked at historic aerials. This is probably what I use the most. So historic aerials allows you to look at multiple things. You can look at current aerials, you can look at aerials from the past. And aerials means taken from above. You can pretty much just use historic aerials to do everything, and you can almost not even use Google Maps. Google Maps is nice for street view. So historic aerials doesn't have street view, so you know, Google Maps has its place. All right, let's take a look at historic aerials. This is gonna be awesome. Okay, this is what historicaerials.com looks like when you go to it. Now this website can be a little tricky to navigate. You're gonna go to view images, and we're just gonna use the same town, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, search. Now you notice these public areas are green on here, and there's our park right there, Reservoir Park. Now, here's where the magic of historic aerials comes into play. Go to aerials. And sometimes you want to click off these little clickbait things because they kind of eat up some of your bandwidth. Get those out of there. Pro tip. They come back, you just click them. All right, Reservoir Park. That's the park we looked at on Google Maps. How long has this park been here? Well, you hit aerials. Look at this. They have 2019. I always start with the 2019 map. Or the newest map. There it is. Looks the same, right? As the one we saw on Google. Okay, now it goes back to 1956. Let's see if this park's here. And we can look for main features like these water towers. You know, there's a trail, big trees right here, things like that. So let's see what 1956 shows us. Well, look at that. There was still what looks to be a large open green area there, but there was this water reservoir, which is why I bet they call it Reservoir Park. So I want to see if that was there. I didn't see that. 2019, nope, they replaced it with the water towers. But it looks as though these old neighborhoods were here. We already knew those houses looked really flippin' old. And it looks like there's green space here. Let's see if we can find another building to zoom in on. So look, this main building right here, looks like that was there. Yep, in 1956. 1956 is a good year for silver coins, but this is an older area than this, I can just tell. So, you can go up here and go, I wonder when they added the water towers. Well, we're gonna find out. Let's see when that reservoir disappears. We'll just keep working our way up. And you'll see other buildings get added. Looks like it must have been pretty recently. 1999, 2003. There they are. So in between 99 and 2003, they added this. When did they add the trail? I wasn't paying attention. Trail's not there. There's a trail still. Trail's there in 68. Trail's there in 57. You can see it. Was that trail there in 56? Yeah, look at the trails there in the green space. So this would be a really good spot to metal detect, even if you're just looking for not so old silver. Here's another really cool thing. You can go to Topo. These usually go back much farther. 1892. Now you have to know how to read a topographical map, but let's see what was here in 1892. It's just gonna overlay it. Harrisburg. So this is our green space right here. So kind of looks like there wasn't much there. Let's bump it up to 1910. See if there's something. So these neighborhoods are here. This just looks like an open area still. What I'm really trying to figure out is when that park was put there. There we go. Catholic High School, which I'm guessing is this. This is that building. So that's 1947. So we're going back. Look at how big the neighborhoods are getting. Oh, looks like around 1947 is when things started booming. But now you got a lot. And it's called Reservoir Park right here now. So established park, homes all around. In 1947. It's weird, those houses look so old to me. I guess they might be 40s. But yeah, you can just play around on here and you'll see how the city grows and more is there, but there's Reservoir Park. So we now have established that this is an old park, old enough. Let me show you something else really cool. So you go in here and you do compare. Now it's gonna give you this second side. If you go to, I believe it's this one, slider. Okay, now you have this side to choose from, what you want. You can do a topo, aerial. So what I like to do is I keep the common aerial, the most recent one, and then I pull up the oldest one, 1956, and I can slide and see what structures were there and what areas were open. Pretty awesome, right? So right here, like this patch was here back in 1956. And yeah, it just gives you real-time view of like, yeah, that trail, that walking trail, it's literally unchanged. It's the same. There's a little bit more trees right here, if you notice. And these right here, these watermarks are here just because you can buy like a picture of your house from the 60s if you want, and they sell it. But you can use the website for free. So just remember, we are right now in the compare. You can just turn that off, but this is what I use the most, is just the aerial view. I just want to see, like, was this park here in the 50s, 60s? 60s and earlier is what I'm looking for. It is. This is one of the best tools. There's other things you can do too. Oh yeah, and the topo maps. Those are really good for finding home sites that are no longer on the map. Like if you get permission in some woods, like I just recently did, I got permission of 450 acres. And I found 3 home sites on the 1898 map that you would never know were there. So I'm gonna hike in there and see if I can sniff them out. And I will film there for sure. So that's historic aerials. Get in there, poke around, play around. I think you will love this. If you live in Harrisburg, congratulations. I'm showing you a good spot to go metal detect. So now, we have looked at historic aerials in all its glory. Let's get rid of that and let's go to Get Maps. Third is a website called Get Maps. And Get Maps is one I just recently kind of found through a buddy, and I started looking at it and it's pretty awesome. It depends on the area, but I was able to find maps of my area going back to 1898, and it's really helping out with some permissions I just recently got. I can see homesteads on these maps that are long gone, and it's on that 1898 map. So we'll just briefly go over Get Maps and you can dive in and kind of mess with it yourself too. All right, let's talk about Get Maps. This is the United States Geological Survey.gov. So here we go. This one's pretty cool. Buddy told me about this one recently. It takes it a sec to load. So let's go to Pennsylvania where we were. To Harrisburg. And you just kind of pick here in the middle of Harrisburg, click. I don't remember where our park was. I think it was over here somewhere. And you've got maps going back to 1892, which we had already. We had the topo map. And you can look at this 1892 map and zoom in, and all these little specks here, these are home sites in 1892. Now, they could be older than this, and you see them, there's a water right here, so usually you're gonna have homes near a water source, right? All along this creek, and you can just kind of scan it. Now, this is where it's important to learn how to read a topo map, and you can use Google Maps to cross-reference to find these topographical features. Because some things had different names back then, you know. It might be a totally different town name or different creek. So you gotta watch it. This one goes back to 1892. And you can just, you know, look through these old topographical maps. Find home sites, like if you got a permission and you know this, there's a house right here. Old home site, 1892, or some kind of structure. And it's really helpful to cross-reference this with historic aerials and Google Maps. Okay, so those are my 3 websites I use to find places to metal detect. I hope you learned something. from this. I'm happy to share it. Some of you have probably seen this before, I get it. Some of you may not have. So I hope that I was able to at least help out a little bit in our quest for awesome treasures. So I'll see you guys soon. If you're not following on TikTok, I recommend you do that. That's where I live stream a lot. If you'd like to see me live on YouTube more often, let me know in the comments. If you have questions, let me know in the comments. Please subscribe and like, or like and subscribe, whatever we say on YouTube. So I'm still learning this YouTube thing, but I do like being here. Let me know what you learned in the comments. Love to see the questions. I'll try to reply to them as quick as I can. All right, thank you. We'll see you next time.